Hello guys, today our guest is Nick from Hello Tax and welcome Nick, how are you today?
Yeah, all good, Chin, all good. But just one correction: I'm not only from Halifax. I mean, yeah, I do a lot of things. So if you want, I can introduce, myself briefly. I'm Nick Penev. I'm the co-founder of Extreme Power Brands, e-com outsource. Extreme Power Brands is a partnership agency and network. So what we do, we connect companies in the Amazon e-com space, and we help them to grow for partnerships. E-com outsource is my newsletter. We have 28,000 Amazon services subscribers, so we send this newsletter weekly with like some valuable tips, hacks, information about Amazon from the last week. And I'm also a partnership advisor at Hello Tax and over 40 other companies in the Amazon space. And also I've been an e-com seller myself. I used to run an e-com business with 20 supplement brands, but that was before exiting 2022. And right now I help companies to expand also to Europe and globally from my partners. That's one of the main things that we do for sellers, right?
And we are gonna add those services in the description of the video and the websites as well. Please, no worry guys, we are gonna put all those links. And let's go back to ask some question in the beginning related with selling on Amazon Europe. Nowadays, I have many friends in Shenzhen. They say every year their sales are increasing in Europe compared to USA. Why do you think nowadays sellers should care in Europe sales more in compared to previous years?
I'll tell you. There's actually one stat which a lot of people don't know. Everybody knows that Amazon.com is the biggest market. So everybody is selling there or they want to sell there. So here's it's actually a funny fact, but it's mind-blowing. Only 2% of Amazon US sellers sell also in Europe. So these are not only US companies, only 2%. Yeah, so exactly 98% of your, let's say, you're selling in the Amazon. So there's companies from everywhere, like China, Asia, Europe, whatever. Only 98% of those companies who are your competitors in the USA, they're not selling yet in Europe. Pan-EU. Pan-EU means selling across the whole continent. And this is crazy because Europe is a huge market. I mean, Europe has 750 million population. 450 millions of those are over 18. So 450 million people are over 18 and they're buying stuff. Another thing that people don't know, Europe has the highest average order value across in the globe, which means that you have products which are expensive and you're going to do very well. Another thing, like we said earlier, competition is not what it is in other markets. So which means less competitors, it's easier to rank on first page, it's easier to actually take over your competitors. And the other thing is higher profit margin. So even though you're not going to do the same revenue that is in the States, you're going to do the same profit margin. And what you said earlier, that more and more of your partners and clients are seeing increase, and that's normal because more and more people are shopping on Amazon. So another cool stats. The Amazon market domination in the States is around 50%. So 50% of all e-commerce in the States is Amazon. 50, or half of that. In Europe, it's only 20%, and it's growing all the time. So can you imagine? So this is like Amazon several years ago in the States.
Yes, exactly. But you emphasized a very good point. For example, in the Amazon, we see a really big revenue, maybe in 1 month, 200, 300K sales. But when you sit down and break down every cost and they're paying advertising, paying for shipping, paying for a lot of Amazon nowadays, fulfillment and the warehouse, etc., you see the margin is shrinking every month. But maybe you can make small revenue in Europe, but your profit would be much more higher.
Actually, a lot of people think like that. They think that the revenue would be small in Europe, which is not exactly correct because we've been helping companies to expand in Europe for a long time. And what we're seeing is that a US company, for example, or non-EU company, let's use Amazon.com as a benchmark because it's the biggest market. So companies selling there, they see 20 up to 50% of what they do in the States in Europe with higher profit margin. So let's say if you're doing 1 million in the States, if you expand your business in Europe, you're going to see probably 200 to $500,000 in sales with higher profit margin. And also in the last year, we're seeing some companies who actually do more than in Europe than they do in the USA, because in USA, certain categories initially are very competitive, so they cannot make that much money. In Europe, there's not that many competitors in the niche. And when you combine all the marketplaces, it's really easier to actually make more money. Of course, no, if you have a unique product, and it's not for everybody, it's not for every product, but in general, that's why whenever somebody would like to expand to Europe, our partners are doing the so-called opportunity reports. We can check, what are the top keywords for your product if there is demand, because obviously if there is no demand, there's no point of going to Europe, because you need to use additional channels like TikTok or like affiliate marketing to actually generate demand. Because if nobody knows about your product, it is revolutionary, they're not going to search for that. But in general, what we have checked now recently in those expansion reports, we're seeing a clear growing trend for all the stuff, because more people are shopping from that. And this is the good thing, because I'm based in Bulgaria and I'm in Eastern Europe. I buy my stuff from Amazon Germany and I get that in a few days. So Germany, it's like Texas in the States, middle of the USA, biggest market. You get the order delivered pretty quickly. And the other thing that you mentioned, why Europe is actually a very good place. The new Amazon placement fees in the USA, that you need to ship directly from China. So in Europe, those fees don't exist. So that's actually another reason why you should look into Europe, because like I said, a lot of revenue, small profit. So go to Europe, you're going to cut your revenue in half, but you're going to have higher profit margin. And at the end, everybody cares about the profit. Now, my wife at the end of the month doesn't ask me for the revenue, she asks about the profit. So it's the same with investors. Let's say you have investors in your company. When they invest money, they want return. If you keep on making revenue without profit, you cannot exit your brand, and obviously don't make money. You don't have money to reinvest. That's why Europe is a good channel, because of the profit and the less competition.
Another problem with USA is that if you make same profit, you need a lot of money in USA. So it means you need to cash flow to send order product from the China. You need much more money than selling in Europe.
Yeah, of course.
And we all know cash flow is one of the most important things to sell on Amazon, undeniable. Let's go to the next one. For example, someone is selling in USA. Which country they should start to selling in Europe firstly? Which one is easy?
Okay, usually if let's say a seller, because Amazon, they have the so-called recruiting, international expansion team. What Amazon is usually telling those sellers is, you go to Europe and you sign up for the Penev program. The Penev program allows you to have storage in multiple countries, and they move the stock so it's closer to the clients, which sounds great on paper. But this requires you to do multiple VAT registrations, 5 or 7 to be exact, which makes it more complicated because different countries take different time to issue your VAT number. So that's not the smart way to go. So everybody who I talk to, I advise them the following. First, you start with 2 markets. You start with Germany, because Germany will be your dispatch point for the whole European Union. Germany is the biggest Amazon market after USA, the biggest one in Europe, central location. They don't have fiscal representation, which means this is another fee that you need to pay if you're a non-EU company. Obviously, if you're based from the States, they don't ask translations. They're an ideal place to start in Germany. And setting up Amazon Germany, you can sell to clients across the whole European Union just with 1 VAT. You're going to hold your storage in Germany, FBA Germany. Somebody's browsing, let's say Amazon Italy or Amazon Spain. They see your listing in Spanish, Italian, they order your product, you fulfill that from Germany. In this case, you eliminate the need to do multiple VATs in advance, which means more money, more cash to invest, more bureaucracy, and you should avoid bureaucracy whenever you can. And then after you see the demand, then you can actually branch out and set up multiple VATs across the EU. So this is for the EU. Even though UK is non-EU anymore, they're still a very good market. So what we usually recommend people is start, if you want to do just the EU, start with Germany. If you want to do the EU in UK, if you're coming from, let's say, because UK is a very good Amazon market, it's not the biggest in Europe anymore, but still it's a very good market. So start in the UK, start in Germany. You need 1 VAT in UK, 1 VAT in Germany. And then the EU, the VAT in Germany is going to cover all your VAT compliance obligations across the EU. And the one in the UK is going to cover UK. People order on Amazon UK, you fulfill your order from Amazon FBA in the UK. People order from Amazon Germany or Amazon or anywhere in Europe, because I'm from Bulgaria, there is no Amazon marketplace. You can go to any marketplace, you can order, and they ship my stuff here. So with Amazon Germany, you open yourself to the 750 million consumers that I mentioned there. And that's it. one VAT. So my advice is don't listen to Amazon, because Amazon makes money if you are on the panio, if you have like multiple FBA storage, because they make more fees. But that's not the smart way to do it if you're a seller, because like I said, cash flow, cash is king. If you do that, you're gonna spend more cash without any guaranteed results. And this is what would be the next step. Let's say you set up the Amazon, like the VAT in Germany, you start selling. Then you're seeing that a lot of clients are actually purchasing from Amazon France, let's say Amazon Italy, and then it would make sense to get the VAT in those markets, so you're closer to the end consumer. And then once you set up the VAT there, you can set up the API, but only expand based on the demand. If there is demand for a product, follow the demand. If people are not buying your product, let's say in Poland, you have no point of actually set up VAT there, because it's another obligation, and there is no point of doing that.
Yeah, that's a very good point you said. Before, as far as I know, if you take same ASIN from USA and the list in Germany, only reviews are coming with that ASIN. For example, there are different ratings. The ratings.
Yeah, they're transferable. Yeah, exactly. That's a good note. You can transfer your reviews from Amazon.com to Europe, which means that you already have an advantage compared to somebody who is starting. And he's not been selling in Europe. So so let's say you have an established brand in the USA. If you're doing 1 million, and if you're not selling in Europe, you need to go and check your head. I'm not joking. I think you should be looking into Europe, if you're doing that, especially if you have a quality product with quality reviews, because Europeans love quality products. That's why we have the highest average order value, because we don't buy cheap shit. People buy quality stuff. Even I'll give you an example. Recently, we spoke with the brand who is selling a veggie supplement in the USA.
Okay.
And what we noticed when my partners pulled the opportunity report, the top brand in the niche was selling their product twice more expensive than the second and the third.
Yeah, you said there is a brand selling 45 euros.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. No, do you want me to start the whole thing over again?
Yes, please.
I mean, okay, sure. So just to give an example, guys. Now, recently we spoke with the veggie supplement from the States. So they're doing very well in the States, and they're looking into expanding in Europe. And when we pulled the opportunity report for Europe, which included obviously the demand and their top competitors, the top product in the category in Europe was selling their products for like 45 euro per unit, compared to what these guys are selling in the States, like 35 US$. So they're selling it more expensive. And the most interesting thing was that the second and the third brands in the product, they were actually twice cheaper. So those guys had 80,000 reviews, and the second and the third company were twice cheaper, but still they cannot get such a big demand from the sales. So this actually confirms what I've been mentioning, that if you have a quality product, you can come to Europe. You're going to have less revenue, but you can easily increase your price, so you're going to have a higher profit margin, because people appreciate quality products now. Of course, I mean, there is like some specifics for different markets, but we have localization partners for that.
Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper about Amazon detail. For example, I have an ASIN in UK, and I switched to sell also in Germany. On that case, Amazon will translate my listing into Germany, or should I?
No, I mean, yeah, Amazon, they have all kinds of tools. So if you ask Amazon, they're gonna say yes. But if you ask me, I'm gonna say no. Always use a translation and a localization agency. I have several of those partners. Probably you have some of those. Always use a real person to translate those. Now, I'll tell you why. When you transfer your listings, what do you do? But even before you transfer the listing, you must get the VAT. So the first thing is the VAT. The VAT number is even before you start selling. So set up the seller account, apply for the VAT. Once the VAT is issued, then you can actually start selling. So to answer your question about the listing, in Germany, they have around 80 million in the population. So 7 or 8 million of those are Turkish speakers. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you set up your listings, you need to consider that you need to put keywords in Turkish, because otherwise you're missing 8 million people which are potential clients, which is a whole country. I mean, So in a way.
Yep, it's very good. Even switching listing from USA to UK, you need to prioritize keywords, because in USA some keywords have more search volume, and you check in UK it's different. Despite same language, the keyword search volume and the keyword weight is different. Therefore, it's definitely, I also recommend to work a local translator, or someone can write the listing for you. Next question. What's the time to get VAT in Germany and the UK?
And usually it's like 2-3 months, So let's say 3 months is a standard, You cannot get it quicker than that. Sometimes it might take longer, but usually the most time it takes for the actual seller to actually collect the document. So for example, that's what we do at HelloTax. We have like advisors who actually help you with all the steps that you need to undertake to start selling. We prepare like a list of documents that you need. Then after you provide the document, we have like the VAT experts in each of the Amazon markets that we cover to actually go and check if the documents that you provide are actually correct, because there is no point of applying for VAT if it's going to be rejected. So we have like a bulletproof checklist that we check. Okay, if something is missing, we tell the client, okay, you need to provide this one because this is going to be rejected. Of course, if this gets rejected, of course you can communicate with tax authorities, but usually preparation is much better than what you should wait for. And so like 3 months. Spain is probably the market where you wait the longest. So that's the reason why we recommend Germany, because they're very business oriented. You get the VAT quicker if you provide, of course, all the necessary documents.
So they don't need entity in Germany or in Europe.
No, you don't need an EU entity. This is actually one of the advantages for Germany, because there is something which is called fiscal representation insurance. So the company, the tax authorities are actually asking you, it's mandatory to set up a fiscal representative. This is the person who is going to guarantee that if you don't pay your VAT, these guys are going to cover that. So the good thing about Germany and UK is that they don't require that, which means that you're considered like an EU entity in a way, because EU entities, EU companies, they don't need fiscal representation. This is only for non-EU companies, so for some markets, and that's why Germany is probably the best market to start with, because they don't ask for that, which means it's cheaper and easier to actually set it up as a non-EU company.
Okay, so we collect documents, and you pre-checking and be sure everything is correct and nothing is missing, then apply those documents to German authority to get the VAT. All processes
exactly
like that, right? And
exactly.
What about UK? How long does it take, and is it same?
UK is the same, So it's the same process, same. There is no big difference. That's why we always recommend. But see, those are one of the biggest economies in Europe, so they're very business oriented. E-commerce is growing there, so they make it easier. Of course, sometimes some sellers might have issues, but usually this is because the seller did not provide the right document, or sometimes people lie from time to time, so they white in their documentation. And the main thing with the VAT is that they want to prove that you're going to do business, because of course, like everywhere else, people are doing scams in Europe. They supposedly do business to actually do some stuff with VAT, so that's why they're not going to issue a VAT if you're not really applying. So that's why you need to provide your contract with Amazon or a free PO. They need to prove that you're going to do business in those markets.
All right. What about after getting VAT and we start selling on Amazon Germany, UK, Amazon?
There is actually one more thing. So we went over the VAT. One thing that you should do, which is also mandatory besides the VAT, is the so-called product compliance check. So anybody who is planning to sell in Europe and they're not based in Europe, their company is non-EU, they would need the so-called product compliance responsible person. So this is the guy who is going to do the product compliance check, and their name is going to be on your label. So whenever there is any issues on the product compliance side, those guys will be representing you. So those two are a must. So VAT and product compliance. So if you don't have a proper product compliance partner or the responsible person, by the end of the year, they're going to stop allowing you to import. So that's very important. So VAT and product compliance are the two must-haves if you sell in Europe.
Basic and fundamental requirements to start selling on Amazon.
Exactly. And the one thing with the product compliance is that it's much quicker than the VAT. Usually it takes from a few days to 2 weeks to get that. So in the meantime, let's say you apply for the VAT, you wait for the VAT to be issued. In the meantime, you go ahead and have a chat with the product compliance partner. I have a partner who I've been using for a long time. He's very reliable. You know, some people even send me an email and told me, "Hey Nick, your guy is a lifesaver," because a brand selling 100 million in the States, he had a lot of issues with the product compliance partner who was supposedly, you know, providing that, but he was not providing. So he had like over like 300 SKUs which are not compliant. So this guy saved him. He said, "Okay, I mean, I wished I met this guy 6 months ago because he saved our life." So that's why I know it's good to know these things. It's not that complicated because VAT and product compliance, that's it. Logistics, you know, you have multiple options. You can set up like a local prep center. I have a partner who has like a warehouse in China. They ship the stock directly to FBA. So shipping, there's a lot of partners now. Usually VAT and product compliance is harder because less companies are doing that. And of course, not all of them provide like good service. And the most thing is communication. So whatever you do, whatever you work, always make sure that you have a clear communication channel, because if everything works fine, you don't need to talk with anybody. Yeah. But if there is some trouble, you need to have a person that you can connect with and he can solve the issue. So if your partner is not communicating with you, I mean, you just look for another one. That's my advice.
What about tax filing, for example? Declare the tax in UK and Germany. Can you give a little bit information about that? How frequently we should do it, and how you can help the sellers?
Usually the VAT is done monthly, no? Only in some cases, no. I think in the UK it's done quarterly if you're not doing a lot of sales, or if you do zero sales. But in general, no. After you get the VAT registration, then our team, we actually, what you need to do, let's say you're selling on Amazon or Shopify, you connect your Amazon account to the Hello Tax software. Hello Tax software pulls the data, then the advisors on our end are going to file the report, so you don't need to do anything. So you connect your Amazon account, you connect your Shopify account. If you have any external transactions, let's say if you're selling off Amazon, Shopify, you need to upload those transactions. So we kind of get the data. If it's from Amazon, it's fully automated. Then we file the reports, which based on the sale that you have done. And this is another good thing about selling on Amazon. Amazon is the so-called DIMSA part. So they're responsible for collecting the VAT and paying that to the tax authority. So if you're a non-EU company and if you sell on Amazon, Amazon is going to collect the VAT, they're going to pay that to the tax authority. So you don't need to worry about that. So it's one obligation less for anybody who is selling in Europe who is a non-EU company. Because before, you need to actually get the return. We do that in the platform for anybody who is not who is EU-based on Amazon. But if you're non-EU based, you simply, Amazon collects the VAT and pay that on our behalf, and that's it.
That's all right. Thank you. Meanwhile, guys, there is 15% of discount if you use Seller Sprite discount code to get the help from Hello Tax. We are gonna add that discount code on the description of video as well. Thank you, Nick, for today.